How can we intro this week's episode? How can we intro this show? What's something that would set everyone up for the greatness that is about to come?
It's a lot of pressure.
Let's start the show.
What's up, everybody out there in podcast land?
Land.
This is the Midnight Turnaround Podcast. I'm hitting the start button on the stopwatch.
What does that mean?
That means I'll know how long the show's been running.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yep.
They have like professional broadcast clocks that do that. We dumb it down. We go with the iPhone stopwatch.
Well, we know that we're in the studio.
We are in the Banana Mike studio.
There's
a folding table, which actually keep going.
Criterion for any studio: folding table, microphones, human beings,
talent, which we have.
Exactly.
We are the talent. How are you doing, my good friend, Vanilla Gorilla?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Fantastic.
I've been visiting Facebook.com/Midnight Turnaround for all the latest happenings on the podcast.
Have you?
I have been.
What can you find there?
Well, pictures. Links to the show.
Links to links to where?
Links to YouTube.
To the YouTube
/Midnight Turnaround.
It's a wonderful thing. I'm loving having this on YouTube.
I am too, actually.
It's more work for us, obviously, because we got to take our audio and then make it a video and then upload to YouTube, which anyone who uploads things to YouTube knows that it takes a long time. So it's a little more work on our end, but I feel like it's more convenient for you, the listener.
For me, not just me.
No.
For me.
For the listener.
To listen to myself. I have an endless loop of myself on all the time. So in my car, I just put myself on and I'm like, what do you...
I didn't know this before until I got here today, but there was still a can of Old Glory in your fridge.
Oh, you didn't think that thing would be flying off the shelf around here?
I figured, if I left a beer here, it would get dranken.
No,
but it's not. So I was gonna open it, and then I thought like I should say the Pledge of Allegiance or something while it opened. But
I was wondering why you were saluting the can. It was very strange.
I was. I feel like when you open the can, like an eagle should fly out or something. So I just wanted...
Or it'll do like the Colbert eagle screech. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's my eagle.
That's a good eagle. It
that's my generic sound of all birds.
It is. It is. Oh, I feel like I was gonna ask you something about that.
That tastes like hot apple juice. It's a cold beer. It tastes like hot apple juice.
Is it better cold, like in a can cold?
Nope.
Oh, thanks everybody for listening. MidnightTurnaround@gmail.com if you want to email the show. Like I said, we're not desperate for emails.
We are not. But if you send anything at all, we will read it.
We will read it. Which we did get an email from our guest from the last show, Jefe.
El Jefe.
And I'm kind of slacking because he left gruesome pictures of his injury.
Oh, like the surgery
and stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, cool! Can I paste these? Can I paste them into my scrapbook?
Can I use a glue stick and adhere them to my wall?
Yeah. Can I paste them into my scrapbook of you, as I have a Jeff scrapbook?
I thought everyone did.
Yeah. So
I know I do.
He was like, "For sure, this is an important event." So, I said, "Can I post some for our fan to see?"
Our fan.
Did I say fan?
You said fan. Like our one listener. Can we post these pictures so our fan
can see it?
You know what? I don't care whether there's 1 or 1 million. I'm still having fun.
And I love the number million. The number million fan.
The number million?
Just like the number 1 fan.
Oh yeah. Once we hit 1 million fans, we will love you the same as number 1.
Yes.
So don't feel special.
Yeah, and we will put the same amount of effort into the show when we have 1 million.
Yeah, we will.
Than when we have 1.
Which is none. There's no effort put it. Me and you just hang out and we're like, hey, do you want to record it? It's like, sure.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I was thinking about taking this thing on the road.
Yeah?
Maybe, I don't know, hooking the mics up to the laptop somewhere else.
We could do that.
Change of scenery.
A little, what do I want to say?
So we've talked about
a remote. We'll do a remote.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of things early on in the first few episodes that
we're still
working on.
Haven't done.
No, we're currently working on. Work in progress.
This is what, episode 5?
I think so.
We're young in the season, buddy.
We are young in the season.
The last season was what? Almost 30 episodes? Mm-hmm. We're only on 5.
Yeah.
This one's a baby.
Let's say in the next 5, we have at least a theme song.
In the next 5, theme song, and I would say either A, another guest on the show, or B, a remote broadcast.
Okay.
Let's do one of those within the next 5 episodes.
Okay. Done.
You know why that's done? Because we can wait 2 months before we
put out another. It could be 6 months before.
I don't want to do that though. I like doing it more regular.
Yeah, we need to put stuff out more regularly.
And if we had more feedback.
You want to do show prep on the air?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Just fucking do it.
This isn't even the show. This is just us having a business meeting about the show.
Yeah. I like it when you put it that way. Business meeting.
It is a business meeting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Could be eventually.
Yeah.
A business?
It is. It's the Midnight Turnaround business. Yeah. Midnight Turnaround, LLC.
Yet to be filed. Yeah. That's also on the list of things to do.
Well, if we ever had any income from this place, then we'd have to.
Yeah.
But
we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you so much.
Are you still out there? Wink at your iPhone if you're still listening.
Are you there, fan?
Are you there, fan? Are you there, fan? Turn it up a little bit if you're there.
Turn it up.
We appreciate you, fan.
If you're there and you're listening, say, I'm listening.
All right, so now we've got the dirty business out of the way. Plug in our shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, not desperate, but email. midnightturnaround@gmail.com.
midnightturnaround@gmail.com. Not desperate, but we will read anything there. Go ahead. You got it. What?
Okay, hang on.
You did.
There was we went. How?
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you how you're faring this week.
My body hurts from the waist down, mostly. Mostly from the waist down. Most of the muscles and some bones are injured and or sore from our past weekend activities.
Listen here, listener. We've been talking about it since season 1.
We have. From really early on, too.
Yeah.
That we were planning on running Tough Mudder 2013.
Yes.
And we hyped it up and we talked about it. Nearly every episode, some of it got mentioned.
Yeah.
Somewhere or another, we'd be talking about CrossFit or just hanging out with our friends. And we'd say, oh, we're running Tough Mudder with those people. Or, oh, we're doing CrossFit to train for Tough Mudder, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's been in almost every episode since we decided to do it.
So if this is news to you, go somewhere else.
Go to our old season 1 YouTube playlist.
Don't stop the show.
Don't stop now.
Don't stop yet.
Make a mental note.
Wait until we're done with the instructions.
Wait till we're done, and go back and listen to season 1.
The whole thing.
There's I believe 11 episodes up so far.
Cancel your plans.
And there will be more to follow.
Go to the YouTube.
Don't eat dinner. Just go straight there.
Back to back to back. I want you to catch up.
And at least get to where we start talking about Tough Mudder. So, last weekend's events, Tough Mudder. What are your thoughts?
Tough Mudder 2013. As
we survived, obviously.
We lived. We finished.
Barely.
We got the coveted orange headband.
We did.
It's in my grasp.
It's in your grasp. I've been hanging mine in my car.
See, I thought about that, but I don't know.
Because you see another. Because I drive a black truck. I see another black truck. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe that's my truck. But now I know. No, mine's the badass
Here's the badass truck.
With the orange headband hanging in the rear view.
Okay, initial thoughts. Tough Mudder 2013. As prepared as I was for it, i.e. training, at least 3 days a week, hard training, and then some, doing some races up until that point, 5Ks and whatnot, 4-milers. Not ready at all.
You don't think?
I was ready. I mean, I felt strong pretty much the whole time, but I wasn't ready for what it was. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be Warrior Dash. What you got there? Oh.
It was not Warrior Dash at all.
You can't really know until you do it. You can't know it until you're going through it. what to be prepared for. Now, next time will be a different game.
Next time will be different.
Should there be a next time?
I think there will be. What do you think?
Yeah.
I know our immediate thoughts as soon as we finished our first Tough Mudder was like, never doing that again.
I was scraping for a reason to do that again. I'm like,
I can't think of a reason. I did it once. That's all I need.
Yeah.
But now, having recuperated and somewhat, I definitely I feel like I could do better than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a lot of cramping issues.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, like mile 3, I started cramping really bad in my quads.
Yeah.
And I kind of fought it off, and it would kind of go away, and then it would come back a mile or so later, a little bit worse, and I would fight it off, and then it would come back, and it was just this constant, cramping and going away, cramping worse and going away, cramping worse, and by like mile 7, I think it was, I remember I
Is that when your foot cramped?
My foot cramped. So then I sat down on the side of the course to try to uncramp my foot, and then my legs just started locking up.
Oh boy.
So then I had to like get up so that my legs wouldn't lock up, but then my toes were still cramping. So then I got back down, and I was just in this constant like sitting down, standing up, like trying not to cramp anything, and I ended up just having to, get up and keep going, and eventually those cramps worked themselves out. But
let me take you to that same exact spot where you sat down and tried to work your cramps out.
Okay.
So at this point, there were 4 of us left on the course.
4 of our team. We started with 6.
And
two of our guys dropped off earlier on.
2 guys. One guy dropped at mile 4. One guy dropped at mile 7. So it was after mile 7 at least.
It was after he dropped. Yeah.
Yeah, after he dropped. And we're about 40 yards up a slight hill from you. You just crossed a creek, and we were a little bit ahead of you. Here's how tired we were. We were like, "Hey, Vic! Vic!" We were not coming back down that hill.
Because then you had to go back up.
Then we had to go back up the hill.
So I wasn't expecting you to come back.
Well, you were like rocking, like trying to undo the cramp. And we were like, oh, shit, he is injured.
Right. But no, and this is what's great about Tough Mudder and what I really enjoy about it. Not just the team aspect of running with your team and even strangers just helping you out with obstacles. But as I'm sitting on the side of the course and I'm trying to like rub out these cramps, people running by are just asking me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I just got a cramp." And they're like, "Okay." And they run along. And then they eventually relay the message to you guys. Because we had the same shirts on so they knew we were on a team.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, he just got a cramp. He said he's all right." And then you guys are like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So you didn't really have to worry about coming down to get me. But that's how it's the teamwork. It's the camaraderie that I really like about it. I can push through all the bad to experience that again because that was really fun.
Helping each
other over walls and excuse me, glory.
Oh, glory came a calling.
But I really liked. People are close with their friends, but there's something about having to help someone up over a wall or reaching your hand out for them to jump up and grab.
It is a different thing.
That it bonds people.
It does.
In a way that just hanging out and watching TV and stuff doesn't.
Here's another thing that I liked about it is that, we had our 4 people eventually. We had our team. Mm-hmm. Anybody that was around was your team.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was never a doubt that if I needed a hand, I couldn't say, hey, I need a hand over here.
Right.
And somebody wouldn't come. Or you would just jump in and throw a hand in for someone else.
Yeah, well, that's what we did a lot. We'd get to an obstacle, and we'd help out the people in front of us. And then whoever was helping would help the team out.
Yep.
And then whoever was behind them would help them up.
Yeah.
So say you're climbing over like a 10-foot wall. We'd get there first, and if there's people waiting, we'd help them up. Yep. And then we'd help you up and Dan up and whatever.
Yep.
And then the people behind us would help me up or help Jordy or help whoever.
Like our last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how all the obstacles went that were, that needed that.
Yeah.
There were sort of high walls or something. But
it was awesome.
What sticks out in your head as the worst obstacle that you had to do?
Well, there was 2 worst for me, and one that was physical and one that was sort of mental for me. Physical was, of course, the Arctic Enema ice bath.
Oh, my God.
Which physically hurt me.
It did.
It sucked my nads up into my body so hard that it was hurting me.
Like getting kicked in the nuts.
Yes, it was and instantaneously lost my breath
Oh yeah.
I've never experienced that. That was kind of interesting to have your breath, jump into something, and without like physically exerting yourself to like exhaustion,
To be out of breath.
just be out of breath and
Especially-
just gasping for air. Like, what are you doing?
Especially in water where you're like, you can't breathe underwater anyway.
Yeah.
So then you dive in the water where you can't breathe underwater, and then you come up for air and you can't breathe. Like it's bad. Panic. You panic.
It was panic, and your body just goes, get out of here. Like it goes into survival mode. Like,
it is.
Get out of here now.
It's like, I don't care if you have to kick a baby in the teeth.
It's
get
true.
out of this. I was just
luckily babies couldn't sign up.
Luckily,
because they would have been kicked.
It was I just know when I went in, it was just straight pins and needles, just head to toe.
Unbelievable.
Like, it wasn't even like, oh my God, this is cold. It was like, my body is in pain.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, this is cold. It was like, this fucking hurts.
Like, it couldn't even register as cold.
No, it was just pain.
It registered as pain.
It was just pain. It was just pain. like, oh, by the way, you can't breathe and you hurt and you can't get out of this immediately. You have to like sit in it. Not only did
they make you go on,
Yeah, there was a partition you had to swim under. So you had to be fully submerged in the ice bath. And then you get out on the other side and you had to wait for the people in front of you to get out, which it's slippery, it's cold. Like some of them, like they lock up or whatever. They gotta help each other out. So I spent more time just sitting at the other side waiting to get out than it took me to dive in and swim across.
Yeah, me too. There was girls in front of us that were not in a hurry to get out.
No.
I had to jump up over the side.
You jumped over the side to like get your torso out.
To like get my torso out.
I was in the middle and I just like bounced up and down in the water just to like keep moving.
Because, it was bad.
And then once I got out, I don't remember where you guys were in relation to me, but I know as soon as I got out, took off at a dead sprint.
Well, me, you, and Jordy all went in the same wave. There were two waves, like one group.
Right, but I'm saying I don't know where you were. Like I got out of there and I booked it. Because after that, the trail kind of curved around into the woods.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing you or seeing George or seeing anyone. I remember as soon as I got out of there, I just took off until I saw firemen.
Well, I was standing there and I heard another guy come out. And it just made sense. He goes, "Well, we got to keep moving." And I was like, "Yes, that's what we got to do."
Yes.
And so I was just like, "I need to warm this up." So then they have you run through a fire thing, which helped out. So.
Except when you breathe in the smoke. You breathe in that smoke?
Yeah, I got a couple.
It choked me up. Okay, so we ran on Saturday. There was Saturday and Sunday they did it, and on Saturday it was a much nicer day. It was like...
Hang on, before you get there, if we could sidebar.
Okay.
What was your favorite or worst?
The Arctic enema was definitely something you don't forget.
You don't forget it.
Being fully submerged in freezing water, I'll remember that forever.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff, jumping over walls was like cool with the teamwork. I did pinch the tip of my dick on one of those walls. Like you throw your leg over, and I don't even know how it did it. I just remember when I jumped down,
you're tired and gravity took over.
Yeah, I just remember once I got over the wall, like walking away from it, it felt like someone had just like snapped a rubber band on the tip of my dick. That sucked. But the very last obstacle was probably I would say the one I liked the least, and I'll tell you why. It wasn't particularly terrible. It was the electroshock therapy. So it's like a big mud pit that you got to drudge through with these live wires that like shock you.
Yeah.
And it was the very last obstacle before you cross the finish line. And by this time, like my body was cashed. I walked around a lot of the obstacles just because I knew if I bent my legs, like they would lock up, or I couldn't jump in water because I wouldn't be able to swim. And so I skipped a lot of the obstacles towards the end. But then you had to do this one to cross to the finish line. So I'm like, okay. And I start going through it, but everyone's going really slow. Mm-hmm. Like they're trying to like be real cautious around the wires, and I'm ready to just run through it. But the mud was really thick there. You couldn't really run anyway. But I ended up getting stuck. And out of the whole race, like I never really got stuck until now. So once the people in front of me moved and I go to like walk, like I can't. My feet are stuck. And these wires are just zapping me. So I'm like, I like bent down to try to like pull my legs out of the mud, and I couldn't. And then like bent down like that, like I started to cramp a little bit. So I stand up and I'm getting zapped. So I'm in this like little panic mode where I'm all like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I was all like, abandoned shoes. So I just sucked my feet out of my shoes and just took off across the finish line. But that was definitely... All the other ones, it's like you try it, and if you fail, like you fall in water or, or whatever.
Yeah.
This one, it's like you couldn't get out of it. I'm sitting there getting electrocuted. My feet are stuck. And I kind of got into like a panic mode. And I'm like, I don't want to take my shoes off, but I don't want to sit here and get shocked.
Yeah.
So I ended up, just evacuating the shoes and booking across the finish line. But those two in particular are memorable, I would say. I wouldn't say least favorite or most favorite. There's most memorable.
Yeah. In hindsight, it was a lot of fun. The first 5 miles for me was a pretty good time.
It was a lot of fun. It was like the first half until I started cramping was a lot of fun.
And I realized that I got pretty lucky because I never got a cramp like you guys did. And so I was able to do a couple more of the obstacles that you guys skipped because you didn't want to cramp up in the middle of a tube or
in water.
Yeah. I thought I was cramping until like I talked to you about how your cramps felt, and I was like, no, I'm not.
Oh, dude, like
I was just hurting from like the distance and the muscle fatigue. But
which it was over 10 miles.
Yep.
So that's nothing to joke at.
Nope.
That's nothing to laugh at.
It's a PR for me.
That's a long distance.
Yep.
To trot.
Yep.
Whether you're jogging, sprinting, running, walking, crawling, or all of the above.
Yeah. Whether on flat land or in 6 inches of mud the entire way.
Yes, or climbing over walls and through electric wires and swimming and things.
Okay, so you started going back to ran on Saturday.
Yeah, so we went on Saturday, which was a nicer day. It was upper 60s, low 70s, dry. It wasn't that sunny. It was kind of cloudy, but I mean, I
thought it was beautiful.
It was a really nice day for the run.
Yeah.
And then they had another group that went on Sundays, and that's when a lot of our gym friends went.
Right.
Sundays was like 50s and raining all day.
The entire time.
So they had a little bit different experience than we did. And what made me think about it was the fire running. When I was talking to Kay Fields about her run, which she said was miserable.
I'm sure it was.
We were discussing some of the events, and when they did the fire run after the Arctic Enema, they actually had a water pit there that you jumped over the fire into the water pit.
Oh.
And we didn't have that.
We did not have that.
So I was like curious to think about if some of the other obstacles were changed between day 1 and day 2. I don't think there was, but I don't ever remember seeing a water pit to jump in during that fire.
No, it was just like a run through it.
It was like a little zigzag through
fire.
Yeah.
Like cinder block walls with like fire.
Yeah, a bunch of fire pits, and they were like hot and blowing smoke. And,
yeah, we high-fived all the firemen.
Yeah, no, she said that there's a part where you jumped over the fire pit into a pool of water, and we didn't have that.
No, that'd have been fun.
I know. I wouldn't have looked forward to it after the ice bath.
But it also would have been fun to run in the sun. So I'll take not doing that.
Yes. So we I looked at some of the photos from day 1 and day 2, and the course didn't look that different because most of the photos they take are of the obstacles and stuff anyway. I think where it came down to is a lot of the open field running, like where ours we might hit some dry land or some flat land or whatever, was still like pretty muddy for them. Yeah. Plus the cold, like it was really cold for them.
Yeah.
Evan from our gym ran on Sunday.
Yep.
And Jeff and Shauna.
Yep.
So they all ran on Sunday in the cold.
Yeah.
And the rain. And we kind of made off a little bit easier on Saturday.
We did, but it was still the hardest thing I've ever done.
It was very hard.
That's no lie. It's the most physically demanding thing I've ever done.
And longest, like time-wise, to do. Because we do, a lot of CrossFit workouts. And you've done some marathons, some runs, some 5Ks.
Some runs, yeah. Haven't hit the marathon status
yet.
But
see, I can, to me, if you're running in some sort of competition, even if it's not 26 miles or whatever, it's like a marathon.
Yeah.
It's a shorter marathon.
We'll call it a race.
A race, whatever. But Tough Mudder's not a race, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge for you.
But I have never done anything physical for 5 hours.
Right.
I'll go to CrossFit for like an hour or so, or I'll go for a run for like an hour or two, but never like 5 hours of going.
Yeah, like a long CrossFit workout is like 40 minutes.
That's like the longest CrossFit workout. Yeah. A lot of them are less than that. A lot of them are around like 15,
20
minutes. 20.
Yeah.
But I mean, they'll, for those who aren't in the CrossFit,
yeah.
I mean, you got a warm up that's pretty much a workout.
Yeah, pretty good warm up.
And then I think most gyms do skills. Don't most gyms do skills? Mm-hmm. And then so you're going to work on a skill, either a particular lift or some kind of element that you're going to work on for like 10 or 15 minutes. So you're lifting or doing some type of, advanced body movement.
Yeah, so you're exerting for an hour.
Right. And then the actual workout starts, which takes 15 or 20 minutes. And then any kind of like, cool down or after workout you want to do. It's not like some people look at a CrossFit workout and say, oh, it's only like 15 minutes. That's nothing. But I mean, you go into a CrossFit gym, you're working for an hour or so.
For sure.
For sure. And I know, particularly for me, I don't know how you feel, but for me especially, I would not have got anywhere near as far as I did without the prior 8 months or so of CrossFit training.
No way. There's no
Absolutely
way.
not. Like, you referenced Warrior Dash a little earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I did Warrior Dash, like, at almost my heaviest.
Your worst, yeah.
With no exercise involved at all prior to.
Yeah.
And I finished it, and it was no big deal.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy in the parking lot. After we were done, we were all cleaning up, getting ready to go. And, he was like, hey, is this your first Mudder? And I said, yeah, you? And he said, yeah. He goes, well, I've done some Warrior Dashes. Have you done any of those? I said, yeah, I did 2 of those. And he just looks at me and goes, amateur.
Right.
And I was like, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like I could go out and do Warrior Dash any day of the week without stretching. Like
I could go do one right now, and I've already went to the gym and then hiked all day.
Yeah.
So
not amateur. Warrior Dash is super fun though.
It is a lot of fun. I don't want to play it down.
I don't either.
Like the intensity of it is much less. It's like Tough Mudder is not just a longer Warrior Dash. Like Tough Mudder is way more intense in all aspects.
And we did have a teammate that thought that.
Yes.
Well, I thought Warrior Dash was easy, so I'll make it through this, and he didn't make it.
He dropped. Well, we should also.
Yeah.
So. We were running Tough Mudder as part of a bachelor party.
Yes.
So we get into town Friday night, and our run was Saturday morning. And me and Aaron, a.k.a. the smart ones,
yeah,
we're like, nah, we're not drinking. Because, it's a bachelor party. People are playing drinking games. People are getting wasted. And we're like, nah, we're not going to do that.
Because there were people there that weren't running it.
Right. There were people there just at the bachelor party that weren't doing the Tough Mudder. So they were drinking, and then there were a couple people that were.
Yeah.
Earl and Isaiah, they were both...
And Jordy.
They were tying them on. So they were, what'd they stay up to, like 5?
5.
They stayed up till like 5 a.m. drinking. And me and Aaron went to bed at like 11.
Yeah.
Got a good night's sleep, and then woke up the next day refreshed and ready to go.
As refreshed as possible.
And they woke up with like 2 hours of sleep, hungover, and tried to go run this obstacle course.
I do give Jordy a ton of props. I mean, he stayed up all night long and finished with us.
He was, and he got in a car wreck that day.
Yeah, he did.
So shout out to Jordy. Hope your car wreck situation has resolved itself.
Yeah, no kidding. About mile 9, I was like, Jordy. He was like, I've come too far to quit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got some heart, bro. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, it may be to a level of stupidity, but it's there.
But he was kind of the same boat as me. Like, he was cramping up a little bit, so he towards the end skipped some of the obstacles just to finish. You know, because if I had tried more obstacles, I definitely would have locked up.
You would have locked up
to the point where I couldn't get unlocked.
Even walk to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have locked up, and they would have had to pull me out and throw me on the golf cart and drive me to the med tent.
Yeah, I definitely never caught a cramp like you guys, which is I feel pretty lucky about.
Right. So that was mainly the reason that Isaiah and Earl both dropped out of the race. Well, and then Isaiah, they hydrated him and put him back in the race. Yeah. So he finished later on, but just not with us.
Yeah, he jumped back in. They let him finish.
But so they were, not smart about that. But I feel like if this was like a Warrior Dash, I would totally do that. Like, I could totally stay up drinking all night, no sleep, and hop into a Warrior Dash and still finish strong.
100%.
100%. We should do that. We should do hungover Warrior Dash.
Hungover Dash,
and just see.
Overall rating. Give it your overall.
Based on what?
Bears shitting in the woods, I think, would be appropriate.
Bear shits in the woods is how fun, how difficult.
Five bears is great. 1 bear is I'll never do it again.
No, but I mean, what are we rating? the enjoyment of it, the difficulty of it.
You're going criteria.
Yeah,
I was just going your overall impression.
Overall impression.
And then I'll follow up after that.
I would give at least 8 bear shits.
Oh, 8 out of 5. 8 out of 5 bear shits.
8 out of 5 bear shits because it was more difficult.
You're saying 8 out of 10 bear shits?
No, 8 out of 5.
8 out of 5. Okay.
8 out of 5 bear shits. It was much more difficult than I thought it would be, but at the same time, it was more fun than I thought it would be.
Yes.
And like we mentioned earlier, afterwards I hated life.
Yes.
I didn't want to be anywhere near mud or on my feet, period. I wanted to shower and go to bed at like noon.
Yeah.
No, we were done at what, like 1 or 2?
It was like 4. We were on the bus back at 4:15.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
Well, it
took us almost 5 hours.
We
started at like
10.
11.
Oh, we started 10:40.
Yeah.
11, 12, 1, 2. 3.
So let's say after that whole intro speech, probably like 11.
So like 5 o'clock, I was ready for bed.
Yeah.
And I said, I will never do this again. But now, because I feel like if I hadn't have cramped up, if I had, hydrated better or ate better or, done something leading up to it better, then I wouldn't have cramped during the race. Then I could have definitely attempted all the obstacles. And I think a year from now, when it comes around again, that I'll be in even better shape to maybe complete most of the obstacles.
Oh, every one of them next time.
Because I mean, stuff like the monkey bars and the rings that were just really slippery from mud. Like sometimes you can't help that. You could be a professional monkey bar person and you put your hand on slippery mud covered monkey bars
and you're going in
and you're going to fall.
Yeah.
So, I think after some more training and recovery and better knowledge going into another one, that I would do a lot better.
Yeah, there are some kinks to work out. Even on my second Warrior Dash, I was more prepared. Mm-hmm. The first one, you just get through it.
Right.
The second one, you're prepared for it.
Yeah, you know what it's going to be. And then now after Tough Mudder, in comparison, you know that you could go do Warrior Dash.
So you're referencing you're referencing a second one. So it's in the works.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to do it as part of like a bachelor party or anything like that. I would want it to be just the sole thing that's going on that weekend.
Yeah, of course.
So once it's done, then I can just crash.
Because we had no idea. I mean, when it was set up, you just don't know.
Because I think a lot of us thought it would just be like a longer Warrior Dash.
Yeah.
We would do it. It would take longer because it's a longer course, but we wouldn't be that beat afterwards.
Oh no.
When we were at Isaiah's after the race.
Yeah.
The ones that had raced in tough, like the people that were just there for the bachelor party were like drinking and eating and like having fun and joking around and playing, and they were outside. They're like, let's go to the lake, let's go in the woods, let's do all this stuff. Those of us that ran were sitting in the living room watching a movie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I went down to prepare my bed so that whenever I was ready, I could just go in there and sleep, and it was ready. And I never came back.
You never came back. It was around 11 or so.
Yeah, they told me they shut the lights out on me because I just, in the room, lights on, out.
You're just out. And then Earl followed shortly after, I think.
Yeah.
He did the same thing. I think he just went down to like make sure his bed was right and just never came back. Because he started falling asleep on the couch watching the movie. And then he just, I think someone was like, Earl, go to bed. Or he's all like, man, I'm ready for bed. And everyone's like, Earl, you've been sleeping.
You've been snoring on the couch.
You've been sleeping for like a half hour. And then he went to bed. I waited for that movie to be up. Like, I was standing in the doorway of Isaiah's living room waiting for the movie to be over. So as soon as it's over, I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. And that was like around midnight.
Okay.
So I crashed around midnight.
I would say I would give it 8.5 bear shits.
Out of 5?
Out of 5. Because it was way more than I expected, and I expected it to be bad.
Right.
During it, I couldn't think of a reason why I ever needed to do it again.
Yes, during it,
But afterwards, I mean, it was a lot of fun, and you really do have a different. What's happening?
There's little kids in our studio.
There's little kids.
There's little kids frolicking in the Banana Mike studios.
They probably won't even show up.
I don't know.
Anyways, I'm glad I didn't underestimate it. I'm glad I trained. I think I looked at you at one point and said, like, couldn't have done it 8.5 months ago.
No.
Couldn't have even gotten where we were, and we weren't even done yet.
I don't think I could have, honestly, I don't even think I could have walked it before CrossFit.
No.
Because that's a long distance.
And I want to do it again. I was even looking into the Spartan sort of races because...
I've looked at some other ones too, and I mean, there's ones that are even crazier than Tough Mudder.
I know.
Like the Go Ruck and...
oh, yeah. I don't know if I need crazier.
I don't. Like, I was looking at Go Ruck, and they do... It's like in a city, and you wear a backpack full of bricks.
Yeah.
And there's like... It's like 12 hours long or something.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be doing it all day. And you'll be doing, like, push-ups with your backpack full of bricks, climbing, like, the stairwell of, like, a skyscraper, and, like, carrying, like, boats and shit. And
I don't think I need that.
I don't need it either. It's too much.
I don't think I need that yet. But sometime, Tough Mudder will be easy, and we'll need to move on.
Yeah, when we're 32.
In years.
Yeah, in 3 or 4 years.
No, but it was good, man. It was a great time, and I know it's going to dominate most of this episode, which we figured. But
well, I mean, we've been talking about it for more
months.
like 2 seasons now.
Yeah,
and I knew that we would want to.
And I needed to get through it. Like, I was just like, this has been in my sights for so long.
Yeah,
that there wasn't a chance I was leaving.
No, me neither. Even that's why. After I started cramping real bad, that's why I started skipping the obstacles, because I didn't want to cramp up on an obstacle and not finish.
Yeah.
Because like you, I'd just been thinking about it for so long. We've been talking about it for so long. We've been training for it for so long that I didn't want to say, yeah, I finally got there, and I had to quit at, mile 9.
After you got up that hill after that first bad cramp, you were like laying on the ground and like we were stretching your legs out. Mm-hmm. And it came a point, and I felt bad, but I was like, dude, we gotta go, or I gotta start moving. Because like the more we stood there, I was just like starting to seize up myself.
Yeah.
Like after a good workout later that evening, when you've sat down for a while and you get kind of stiff,
you get tight, you get sore.
That happens in like 10 minutes when you stop at Tough Mudder.
And then you have to stop at a lot of the obstacles too, because there's a wait, because there's a lot of people get choked up at obstacles.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you would start getting tight just waiting for the obstacle. Like, you're not even resting. You're just like there waiting to take the obstacle, and you start getting tight.
Yeah. So.
I definitely I knew it would be difficult. I didn't know that I would feel as accomplished as I do having skipped some of the obstacles and still finishing.
Yeah.
Than I thought.
Yeah.
Because I know initially I was like, yeah, I'm going to do the race. I'm going to do all the obstacles. I'm going to finish. It's going to be awesome. And then when I, started having trouble, I started thinking like, man, I'm not really doing it, because I like skipped, climbing some walls and swimming through the mud. But then after I was done, I was like, fuck that. I fucking finished.
Yeah.
Whether I, did everything or not.
Yeah. And that's like the guy said at the beginning, like, if you're not comfortable, don't do it.
Yeah.
And I would rather cross the finish line than have done an obstacle and been taken out of it.
Right.
For sure.
Right. And I didn't really see that many people, but I wasn't paying attention because I was in my own world of pain. Mm-hmm. But I was like cramping to the point of limping. Like, I was limping most of the race because my legs were so cramped up.
Yeah.
And I didn't see a lot of people doing that. I think everyone, like most of the people.
No, I saw lots of cramps.
Did you?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Because when I was hanging back with Jordy for a while there, mainly along one of those fields in the last 3 miles, it was like a lot of people stretching on the fence and just like a lot of teams waiting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cramps. Don't worry. You were not.
I didn't see people, but I wasn't paying attention because most of the time I was literally like looking at the ground, like trying to plan my next step to where I wouldn't have to like, engage my leg muscles as much. So anything that would like look flatter or whatever. And I wanted to be ready because I knew that if I got caught off with like my balance or whatever, your legs engage and they're like, oh, I got to balance for this. And when you're stomping through thick mud like that, it's like constant, just like your muscles are just tight the entire time. They're flexed, they're ready, they're going. So I was like, oh glory. I was like trying to plan my steps so that I wasn't caught off guard.
So your legs didn't have to tense up. Yeah.
So I knew, I'm going to step over here and it's going to shift me a little this way. So I can know that to counter my weight and not have to have my legs fire to like balance me as much.
Yeah.
I was doing it was so mental what I was doing because I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
But and not even with the physical training, I wouldn't have been able to do that mentally without all the CrossFit training that we've done.
Yep.
Because you get into a workout, again, that's 15 or 20 minutes. You're still pushing yourself as hard as you can. And without that type of mental training, I would have cramped up at mile 3 and be like, oh, I got to cramp, guys. I got to stop.
Yeah, it would have been a career ender.
Oh, yeah.
You've been like...
For sure.
Yeah.
I'd been like, meet me by the Monster Energy tent. I'll be over there.
Well, we did it, and I do feel very accomplished. I now look at people that have done it, and I'm like, all right, that's a bad motherfucker.
And you know what? It's a club.
It is a club.
I meet a Tough Mudder now. Because before, when we started CrossFit, we met some Tough Mudders.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, you've done Tough Mudder? Tell me about it. And they're like, oh, yeah, whatever. And you're like, that's so cool. But now it's like we're in the club.
We are in.
And I want to talk to people that have not done it. Like, I want them to come to me like, oh, you've done Tough Mudder? Like, what's it like? And I'd be all like, oh, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Don't worry about preparing for it.
Yeah, don't worry about any training. No, I would tell them. I would say, you need to train. You need to be ready. You need to hydrate. You need to have good nutrition.
Are you telling me what you would hypothetically tell someone that came up and asked you?
I'm telling you what I would tell myself next year, because I feel like I had the physical training down, and I probably slacked on the nutrition, and that's probably was my downfall.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
If I had eaten a little better the week of, but I mean I was out of town. I had to work out of town, so I pretty much had to eat out every night.
Let's hear every excuse you got.
And I tried to make better choices, but when you're a mudder on a budget, sometimes you got to hit up Dollar Menu and get some cheeseburgers.
Yep, I know.
I know.
Well, we hope we've talked you all into doing it. Club.
Join the club because it's terrible, but it feels great.
It is. It is a accomplishment of human willpower and diligence.
I don't have any plans on looking for a new job anytime soon, but if I did, I would put Tough Mudder on a...
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Why
not?
I mean, that's... If someone reading... That's some grit. If they got some mental something to them.
If the interviewer or the whoever's hiring knows what Tough Mudder is and they see it on your resume, I think that's points. They get points for that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's accomplishing something, and it's teamwork, and it's all just good things. I don't know why that dance you just did. I thought of the coffee song. I got coffee running
through my sis. Yeah. Because I need to wake up. I'm kind of on a lull here.
Well, you don't need to wake up. It's almost midnight.
Hope I'm not bringing the podcast down because I'm not really amped up and energetic.
That's a terrible song. That's the worst song I've ever heard in my life. Aaron, wake up. Aaron, wake up.
Yeah.
Aaron, wake up.
No. Okay, I think that's the show.
Is that enough Tough Mudder for one day?
That's enough mudder fucking talk.
Mudder toughen.
Mudder.
What should we name this episode?
Oh, Tough Mudderfuckers.
Tough Mudderfuckers. I like that.
All right, we'll work on that.
MidnightTurnaround@gmail.com.
YouTube.com/MidnightTurnaround.
Facebook.com/MidnightTurnaround.
Hit us up on the flippy floppy.
Let us know.
Maybe we won't talk about Tough Mudder for the next year anymore.
I bet you we will.
I bet we will.
I bet you we will.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Snack.
I'm a sneaky little snack. I think we still need to come up with a cool outro too.
Outro!